Hey guys, ForTheAfro Reviews here, and tonight I'll be reviewing Chapter 178 and 179 of My Hero Academia. These chapters basically focus on Deku and Gentle continuing their battle, but we also get the cultural festival beginning in a couple scenes beforehand. Like 178 begins with Monoma laughing at Kendo because she's in a dress. She's looking really good though. Kendo's looking great, but he's laughing because it just looks so different than what she normally is like. You know, she's usually like in like a martial arts outfit or like her school uniform or whatever. It's just like a different side of her. So he's laughing his ass off. Apparently Monoma also is the one that entered her. I don't know how that works. I don't get pageants at all. So whatever. Hado walks in and talks about how he can't count her out because Monoma was really confident that Kendo could win. Like even though he was laughing at her. And then weird eyelashes girl walks in. I don't know what this girl's deal is. Are her eyelashes like part of her quirk or is she just weird? I don't know. I don't like her. She's all kinds of uncomfortable. We also get a short scene of Eri, Mirio, and Aizawa in the car together, just going to the cultural festival. And I really like seeing that Aizawa is always with Eri. This is great. I want him to adopt her. I think that would be hilarious, and it'd be great, and it would work out well quirk-wise. It just makes a lot of sense to me, but that's neither here nor there. They're pretty much just being excited about the cultural festival beginning. So getting over to the fight portion, in 178, Deku makes really good use of Gentle's quirk actually against him. First of all, he's like, he was holding that steel girder and he shot at him in the last chapter, so he has to put that down. And then I like that he puts stuff on top of some of the like invisible barriers before he like leaps off in pursuit of Gentle to like warn the workers there, like in case someone walks there, like, hey, there's like invisible rubber barriers everywhere, don't walk into them. That's such a great little detail and something that Deku would totally do. I love it. It's great. That's why I love Deku. He's just such a thoughtful little lad. Deku then leaps with the crane that Gentle made elastic, the same way that Gentle did in pursuit of him. And I'm assuming he jumps a little farther too, because he could probably add some power with his own quirk, like jumping off. As he's closing in, he sees the footholds that Gentle used after that he shot at him. Because once he shot that shot, Gentle was off balance, and he like had to like go one way and the other, just kind of like jump back down to the ground. So Deku makes use of those footholds and actually uses one to get right behind Gentle and try to fire in his blind spot. Gentle then makes another barrier, thinking that he had outsmarted Deku. Like, it's okay, I'm good, but you're looking a little stressed. But Deku then shoots one of his shots off the original barrier that he put up, and it like ricochets and hits him. Like, this is great. Deku's being the analytical, like observant protagonist that he needs to be. He's always been this kind of intelligent fighter, and it's really cool to see him making use of that intelligence in the fight again. This isn't like an overpowered, just like super buff enemy, or like someone that like he has to like use 100% power just to match or anything like some of his last fights have been. No, this is someone he has to just use the power that he already can use in like the smartest way he possibly can. And right now, that's using it in conjunction with the enemy's power. Even better, then we get Deku actually pinning both Labrava and Gentle. I like that he didn't forget Labrava. He's like, yeah, you're not just a bystander. He pins both of them, and he's like, all right, give up. Like, I got this. I won. And this is when we transition into Labrava's flashback. It's cool that we got a Labrava flashback in 178, and we get a Gentle flashback in 179. I like that we're getting both of their backstories, and we're getting a lot of elaboration on both of them. So in this chapter, Labrava is basically the general story of hers is that like she wrote this guy a love letter, and that he like completely rejected her and like made fun of her and said like, oh, she's obviously like stalking me, like all this stuff. And maybe she was, or maybe she was being a little creepy, but he wasn't dealing with that in the healthiest way, and it really affected her psyche. Like, she didn't trust anyone at that point, and she like it implies that she got to the point where she was actually suicidal, which is really sad. And then that's when she saw Gentle's videos, and when she went and reached out to Gentle, and she developed a genuine love for him. And I'm not sure again if this is romantic or platonic, but they love each other, and that's when it's revealed her quirk is actually called just love. What it does is it basically like it converts her love into like power for the person that she loves. Like the more she loves the person, the stronger they get. So it's like a boost to your strength overall, and it's enough that he, like Gentle, when he gets this power up, could just blow right past Midoriya. And it even shows like this crazy, like steamy, like freaking Super Saiyan looking panel. Like Gentle looks like a straight badass, and he's obviously really strong because Deku was like flying in circles. Like it wasn't like he just like, oh man, I lost my grip. Like no, he was sent flying. Okay, so now at this point, the villains get a love power-up, which is really strange, because usually in these kind of series, the protagonists get, like, the friendship or, like, the love power-up, and, there was also a moment in the Overhaul arc where, like, there was three people who, like, were using their friendship to, like, be stronger, basically, and, again, Horikoshi turns it on his head, because in that arc, Tamaki just took them out by using their friendship against them, and here, Deku didn't get straight beat by like Gentle. Like Gentle went for the chop. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be over. I thought this was it, and like he was gonna pass out, and the arc would continue or whatever with Gentle invading. But no, Deku blocks it with one hand and then slings his arm over and goes to shoot another shot right at Gentle. No hesitation. Like, and he says, most badass line. He's like, "I fought people stronger than you," like something like that. Oh my God, I love Deku. He's really, really coming off as a badass in this fight. We've seen him be a badass before, but usually by sacrificing his limbs or going past his limits or getting help or something. This, he's using power that he knows that he can control. He's not hurting himself, and he's kicking ass. He's doing awesome. So moving on to chapter 179, as this chapter starts, the cultural festival is beginning. President Mike is announcing it really loudly and with a lot of enthusiasm, as he is prone to do. And we actually get a little panel of Hound Dog Sensei. It looks like he's smelling something, and then like he sniffs the trouble. He can smell the fight happening because it's pretty intense. There's some intense stuff going on. And I really like what Horikoshi is doing here. He's cutting between like showing the cultural festival and like people there and like the stands and just general cultural stuff and the fight between Deku and Gentle, which is getting way more intense from the last chapter because now Gentle's powered up and Deku's just brawling and Gentle's getting a little violent, which is out of character for him. And the fight, it's a great fight. Let's put it that. Like, I'll say that much. So Deku and Gentle both fly back from a clash they had, and Izuku, jumping back, he's like bleeding from his face and stuff, and I'm assuming that's from the last chapter when he went flying, when Gentle first got up and he wasn't expecting him to be so strong. But they're exchanging words and whatnot, and Labrava's like screaming like, "I'm so sorry that my love wasn't enough," because Gentle still isn't as strong as Izuku, or he's not stronger than Izuku, I guess I should say. He might be around as strong as him, I don't know, but Gentle is being a great character. He's saying like, "Who's to say your love wasn't enough?" And then we get some insight into it, his character in this chapter. We get his flashback, and it kind of sets up like how much it means to him that Labrava is looking up to him, and that she wants to she idolizes him basically. Like that means a lot to Gentle because he wants fame and he wants to make his mark on the world. And he wants to make his mark on history. So in the fight, Gentle uses his attack he calls like Gentle Sandwich or something, and it's like a bunch of rubber barriers stacked on top of each other and like pressing down on Izuku. And Izuku looks pinned, but I love what Izuku does to get out of it. He actually he grips the ground and uses so much power that he just rips a bunch of the ground out. It's kind of like, like Naruto, like digging a hole in the Chunin exams or whatever, but like it's instantaneous and he just like rips the ground out and he like gets out of it because it's just a bunch of stuff pushing down on him, If there's a bunch missing right here, you can still get right out. So Gentle uses this attack called Gentle Sandwich or something, and he's like, it's a bunch of rubber barriers or elastic barriers, I guess I should say, like stacked on top of each other and like crushing Izuku down. And there's a lot of barrier there. I don't think he could just like force his way up with that much little space, but he does something really smart. Since his hand is on the ground, he uses his grip and like just grips it and just like digs the ground out like in one swift motion, and digs enough of the ground out with his super strength that he can just slip out. So that was a great way to escape that. And again, I like seeing another use to Gentle's quirk like that. Like I thought it was such a cool quirk to begin with, and he's using it in so many creative ways. It's making it even better. Gentle and Izuku are exchanging words, and Gentle's really going on about how much this means to him, and how Izuku, as a student, and as aspiring to be a hero, should understand like his aspirations and how he's like striving for his goals. And Izuku saying like, if you understand that, then why are you attacking the cultural festival? Which that's exactly what I thought. Like it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I guess like throughout the years, Gentle just became selfish because of everything he's gone through. Izuku tries to throw Gentle, and he like grabs his coat. Izuku does a lot of throwing in his fighting. If you haven't noticed, like I didn't really think of that until I read this chapter, but I was like thinking back, I'm like he's thrown a lot of people, like more than any of the other fighters in this series, at least. Anyway, he grabs Gentle's coat and goes to throw him, but Gentle made it elastic, and again, a brilliant use of his quirk. Like I guess it's just his clothing, but I don't know. I feel like every use he's had has been really clever. Izuku tries to throw him, but can't because it just stretches, And once he lands on the ground, Gentle with his now love mode or whatever super strength braces himself on the ground so that like the recoil from the elastic force pulls back on Izuku, and Izuku like goes flying towards him. Izuku uses this force and comes in with a kick, and they both go tumbling together. And this is when we enter into Gentle's flashback. So it turns out that Gentle was like a student that got held back a couple years. It seems like he was at like some kind of low ranking or not very well known hero school, and that he was still having a lot of trouble. He failed the provisional license exam like 4 times. Like he obviously just wasn't doing well despite having this amazing quirk. We see that despite doing so badly, he wasn't giving up. He still wanted to do well, and at one point an incident occurred where someone was like falling, and he wanted to save them. Like he was like, my quirk could like, it's good for the situation. I could save this guy. And as he was going in to save this guy, he got in the way of the hero on the scene, and ended up with like the person ended up with 6 months of recovery time due to the injuries. And it was deemed his fault, rightfully, honestly. But like, it's just really sad to see because he had such good intentions in his heart. Like he wanted to help that person. I guess he wanted to help them for selfish reasons, but he still wanted to genuinely help the person. And it was only because like he at that point he just didn't have the necessary training to do it correctly. Now due to these actions, he got expelled from school. His parents, they were harassed and stuff, and like his parents then disowned him. It looks like he ended up just being a part-time worker, going from job to job basically, and that's a pretty negative thing, not to have any stability. And this is when he sees someone from his old hero school, and he recognizes him. He's like, oh my gosh, it's good to see that you're doing so well. Like, do you remember me? I was in your class. I got held back though. He's just starting up conversation. He's really excited to see this guy, and he doesn't remember him at all. He doesn't know who he is, and it's so sad because the guy looks like a genuinely nice guy. He just doesn't remember Gentle. Like there's nothing wrong with that. It hurt every fiber of Gentle's being because what he wanted to be was famous and remembered, like above all, and that goal, he's as far away from that as he could possibly be. He kind of had like a mental breakdown thinking like, is this what my life is going to be? Is this like, am I just going to get a job and die and just like not make any kind of mark and like what I really wanted to or aspire to my goals? And it's around this time that he took up the task of being the gentle criminal. So we cut back to the fight, and Gentle is just saying like go ahead and laugh at me if you want. I'm gonna do whatever I can to achieve my goal. Like he's his resolve has been strengthened from all the hardship he's gone through in his life basically, and all that failure he did sustain. Now he wants to like achieve his goals and do everything he can to meet them. And Deku's saying like, I'm not laughing. No one's laughing. And then they have a clash, and the chapter ends, and it looks like the conclusion is going to be next week. So I'm really excited to see how this fight ends. I've loved this fight from start to finish. Like literally every panel of this fight, I've absolutely adored. There's been comedy, there's been great action, good choreography, character development. Even it's had it all. So I'm excited to see how it ends. I'm hoping Izuku wins. I want him to just have some more clear wins in this series. I mean, he has like the most OP quirk ever, and he's finally getting a good grasp for it. So I think we should start seeing him, having a little easier time in his fights going forward. But either way, I'm pretty excited. If Gentle wins, I hope he just doesn't ruin the cultural festival. I want to see the performances and stuff, and we still haven't gotten any of that. I don't think Horikoshi would set that up without following through. Anyway guys, that's pretty much it for me. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and if you're still here at the end, I really appreciate it, especially because it's a double review, and there's chances you didn't want to see the 178 stuff, since it was from last week or whatever, but if you made it all the way through the video, I do really appreciate it. And yeah, till next time guys, see ya.